Hello, good evening Philippines, and good day everyone around the globe. We've started late today because I've just arrived from work. It was so traffic along the way. But then I would like also to clarify regarding our schedule. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, that's 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Philippine time. So that is a fixed schedule. And every Tuesday and Thursday, and today is Tuesday. We don't have yet a fixed time, but temporarily our schedule would be supposedly from 8 to 9 p.m. or 8 in the evening until 9 in the evening. We started late tonight, so we will extend our time. So it's about 8:40 in the evening. We will end at 9:40. So we will still take the 1 hour session for today. So this is actually our day 2 or our second day for our daily live tutorial. So this is a free daily live tutorial, a live cast. So again, for those who were not around yesterday, this is a daily live cast because I want to entertain questions while discussing some important topics in web development. Web development actually is one of the programming journeys. So because there are also enterprise software development. So this pandemic time, it was so everyone really needs to learn about web development. And I also revealed some secret about web development. And just to reiterate briefly, there are a lot of programming languages today or software technologies from the original or the core programming language like PHP, and then different frameworks came in from framework to another framework. So that's what's happening right now. So the same thing with JavaScript. That's why last time I have just included there the JavaScript, because that is a general term, that is a general topic. All that you encounter today, like jQuery for jQuery, and then Vue.js, React.js, and the Angular.js, which is used or originated by Google Incorporated, and for I think React.js for Facebook. So all these things were derived from the original JavaScript. So if we really understand the core knowledge about JavaScript, and even in any programming language, even if there will be frameworks, so many frameworks in the future, then it wouldn't matter, because you really understand the basic foundation, the basic knowledge of it. And let us not underestimate the basic, because basic doesn't mean easy. Basic means the strong foundation of any endeavor. Okay? So for today, our target for today, for the second day about our because yesterday was the launching, and I want to take this second day opportunity to discuss about the secret in web development, and I would like to continue what we have started yesterday. So yesterday we created a simple scripts or program that would display records from the database. So that is just to show that if you want to create a dynamic page or application or web application, you really have to know on how to manipulate, and one of them is to on how to retrieve data or records from your database. So that's one way. So using PHP, I've demonstrated that using the PHP, and you can do that even using Python or the Django, which is its framework, or any web programming language. But in our case, we've just used PHP to show you, to demonstrate on how to do it. And again, I would like to encourage everyone to focus on the back end, because doing the templates or the design is, we could say that it's not that complex, because there are already so many tools today. The receiving tools, what you see is what you get tools, where you can just drag and drop the all the things like buttons or the form objects that you need to your form or to your page. So the real challenge in web development is actually on how make to make it functional, or to do the functionalities of it. Well, let's say for example, if you click the button, and then let's say you're going to submit the information that you have that you have entered, and then it should be stored permanently in the database, so that if you access it later or in the future or in other places, you are still be able you can still open it or retrieve it, like what we're doing in our Facebook. So even if you upload it from your mobile phone with your Facebook application, you can still open it in your laptop, desktop, or anywhere, as long as you have an internet connection. So that's the philosophy of that. Okay, so to proceed, I want to share again my editor. Okay, so again, I would recommend that you use the plain text editor or IDE instead of using the those IDE that has IntelliSense, meaning to say it has auto suggestion. It automatically suggests, if let's say if you type HTML tag, automatically it will give you the closing tag, which is /HTML. So I would not recommend that, especially for those who are just starting to learn this, because it will this will in terms of memory retention, this will really retain to your brain, to your mind, if you do it manually, or if you do it without using those tools that are automatically giving you the clues and other tags that make the autocomplete. Okay, so again, I have here my editor. Okay, so that is an editor, and then as a continuation of yesterday's demonstration, I will open the file that we've created yesterday morning. And by the way, tomorrow we will still have another live tutorial. It's in the morning, 6 a.m. in the morning tomorrow. Okay, so I will open the file, the source code. Where is that lesson? And then open with text editor, because I also have here Bluefish and even Sublime and other IDE. Okay, so you can see now on your screen. So that is the short scripts that we've created yesterday. So the purpose of that, so I will explain briefly for those who were not around yesterday, and for you to be able to refresh also or recall. Where's my editor? Okay, so on the first line, so we have the opening tag for PHP, and then on the second line we have the $con as our variable, this one. And then the MySQL connect, that is a built-in function in PHP. Before that's MySQL underscore connect, and now because of the higher version of PHP, it has now letter I for improved. So MySQL I connect, and then the parameters inside, or these things inside localhost, meaning to say this is the server where the database is located. In the actual, you have the database server if it's in a separate database server. So you will be specifying here the IP address, and then or the URL. And this one, the admin here, by default it's root username. So I used admin as the username and the admin exclamation point as the password. And then the test is the database name that we have created. So again, this is the database name. Okay, the username of database username, database password, and the database. And this one is the location where database is. Okay. On the third line, the $rs. Actually, you can use any variable name, but I have just used $rs for record set or result set, because if you define or if you make a variable name, it should be something brief but descriptive, because you will not be confused of your naming conventions, because you don't need to confuse yourself, because the programming itself, the algorithm itself is already complicated. So as programmer, you have to organize your thought, you have to organize your variables, you have to do the naming convention correctly. You should have the naming convention, the correct naming convention. Okay, so the parameters inside the MySQL query for you to execute any SQL statement will be, the first parameter is your connection, meaning to say you are addressing this second parameter, which is the SQL statement, to that connection, meaning to say you are pointing to that connection, you are pointing to that database where your database is located. Okay, so select asterisk from contacts. So this one is a part of as we go along in the future, I will also be teaching you about the SQL statements. So select asterisk from contacts, meaning to say this is a standard query language or structured query language. So SQL is a standard, and that is applicable to any database platform. You can use that even in, as I remember when I was in college, we've used the DB3 plus. So that is the CLI, the DOS based database. So even in COBOL, even in Access, MS Access, SQL Server, Oracle, name it. When we say SQL command, that is a standard and that is applicable to any database platform. Okay, so select asterisk from contacts, meaning to say that is the table name that we've created. I am going also to open the database, and there are so many ways in opening your database. There are also applications that you can install to open the database, and there is also a browser based way of accessing the database or opening the database. Or sometimes I'm using the command line, the terminal, because I'm using the Linux Ubuntu terminal. So you can also open it from there, access it, and then connect to your database and open the table that you or do some queries or SQL commands that you wanna do. Okay, so from here, later I'll show you. I'll just explain this first before I open the browser or the database from the browser. So select asterisk from table name. That is a table name, and the while statement is also a built-in conditional statement. One of the conditional statements in PHP. Actually, this is also the same with JavaScript or Java. So you also have there the while statement, or sometimes the for statement. So we use here the while statement. There is also a do while. So again, this is while statement, and the argument inside. So this is also an assignment operator, MySQL fetch array rs, which is the result of this one of the record set, the query. So all the records that you have fetched or that you have gathered from that table will be stored here in $rs, and inside this is the $rs fetch array to finally get the different data from different fields or columns. Let's say, for example, for last name, so you can already use this command $row, because this is the variable that handles for every row that is being fetched from the record set, and then this would be the field name. So $row last name, meaning to say if there is an existing value or record from the last name, which is the column or the field name, then it will be shown here. So that is the concatenation for PHP. And then you are concatenating whatever the last name is, the value of the last name is. You are concatenating comma and then it's space, and then after that the first name. Okay, and then after that, another concatenation for hyphen. Again, you also concatenated here the row contact number, so that is the last column. So all in all, we have three columns here: the last name, the first name, and the contact number, and then the BR. This is an HTML. So after we do these things, we will start with HTML. I will be teaching you HTML because on the assumption that majority of my audience here are just starting the journey. So don't be uh, don't be overwhelmed about this information. If you are new with web development, just digest the idea. Do not dive first very or specifically on this on every line that I'm showing. Just absorb what I am saying, or what the idea is, because later we have just started on the final final idea, or the general idea, or the final output that we wanna achieve. Okay, so BR is one of the HTML commands, and tonight we will add some, so that you will also, let's say for example, if you want to put that on tables to make it more presentable. Okay, so I will just do it very quick, and you don't need to memorize everything that I will show you. Okay, so I will create a table, so that because the output of that, okay, I'll show you the browser first before we continue. Okay, so I think you can already see from your window. Okay, so that is our output yesterday, and we will put, or we will add some HTML to make it more presentable, and yeah, to make it more presentable. So I will show you again the source code, and then we will modify that. So instead of doing this, we will create a table. Anyway, I'll show you first on how to do the table. So if I echo here, and then okay, so we have table, and then we have a slash table. So this is HTML actually. Don't worry about this. I will teach you about this. So tr, and then we have under tr we have th, and th, and then we have another th. Okay, and then another th. So 3 columns. Let's say for example we will add another column. I'll just copy this anyway. Okay, so here let's say for example the counter. So instead of counter, I'll just put asterisk, and here instead we can just create 3 columns. Actually, I will remove this, because instead of separating the last name and first name, we will just view the entire last name and first name here. Okay, so we can call that the contact name, or the contact name, or just the full name. Okay, and then here we can put the contact number. Okay, contact number. Okay, so okay, on our next row, so we will close this row. So on our next row, tr again, but this time we will use td for table data, so table heading on the first row. So on every tr that you see, that sandwich tag for tr, that means that's 1 row. So we have 2 rows right now. Okay, so we will create 3 columns for the second row as the equivalence of this one. Okay, so let's try to put some data here first. Static data, ASDF. Okay, once I save this and we run again, we refresh the browser. So I will show you the browser first for a moment. Okay, so that's the browser. And then from here, I will refresh this. So as you can see above, yeah, we have, okay, we have the number sign, full name, contact number. Okay, so now we will replace this static value, constant value, into a dynamic one. Let's say the Jando and Clara Maria Dan Do Kamajan. Okay, so we will again, let's go back to the source code. Okay, so from the source code, we will modify that. Okay, so from that one, so instead of this, we will put this one, the row name, last name, and I think we don't need to put the comma and the other one. Okay, so from here, instead of this, I will write, we will concatenate row first name and then first name space last name, like John space Do, Maria space Clara. Okay, so we will concatenate here single space and then the last name. Okay, so instead of first name and then concatenate again because that is considered to be a variable, and then okay, that is last name, and then the third one is the contact number. Okay, so we will remove this. We will copy this one, the contact number. Okay. We will remove also the BR because we are now using the table tag. So we don't need that anymore. So on the third column, we will put the contact number. So we will also do the concatenation. So that would be like this. So be careful with again, those who are new into web development, don't be shocked with this or don't be overwhelmed with this because I'm just showing the actual database manipulation. Okay? I'm just showing on what's really the most important thing that you have to learn before you start the journey. Okay? So, because some people are already so excited and focused on the design, that's why they cannot they don't know or they don't picture out the entire process or the entire journey before you have to map out first. You have to understand first everything, and then just the idea. You understand. You should have a deeper understanding about the idea, and then once you already know the idea, you know your goal, because this is our goal. To really, the ultimate goal actually in web development or in any programming language is for you as a learner or as a programmer to be able to manipulate the database by doing these scripts, be it other programming languages or other programming language. Okay? So contact number, I'm just trying to show you on what's the importance of this, and later again I will teach you everything about HTML, about JavaScript, and then PHP, MySQL. So now what we're doing is a combination of everything. This is actually the summary of everything that we're going to learn in web development. But I am not saying that this is everything. But in terms of functionality or in terms of the of the very important or essential thing that you must learn in web development is this one. Because when I learned Visual Basic, that was the actually before Visual Basic, during our time, the database or the DBase 3 plus, something like that, or DBase 4 or the Foxbase, and then the Visual Basic. So I appreciated it so much because it's also a GUI. You can just design the form very quick. You can design the form quickly because there are already available tools there, and then you will put the functionalities because that is procedural. There are event handlers. You double click the button and you input the script, something like that. So logically, they are also similar with other, in terms of concept, similar with other programming languages that manipulate database. Okay, going back here. Okay, so I think we're done. So we have here 3 columns. Oh, okay. Instead of 1, okay, we will just run this first. Let's try this first. But as you can see, the first column on the second row, this one, the number 1, is still static. So that will not be that will not give us the counter result. Okay. So let's go back to the browser. Okay, and then let us refresh the browser. Okay, so now we have here but we don't need to loop the header. So the header must only be on the top, and what we're going to loop is the record, or those records that will be fetched. Okay, let's go back to the source code. I'll show you again the source code. Okay. And then we will do a little modification. We will put this outside. So this while statement should be somewhere here after this one. Okay, so meaning to say we will close this double quote here to close the TR, the first TR, and then because this we don't need to, or we cannot echo the while statement because that is not a string, that is a method or function. Okay, and then we will put another echo here. Okay, we will put another echo. Okay, and then for the table, because we don't need to loop this slash table, it should be outside the while statement. Okay. Oh my god. Table slash table. Okay, so that's it, I think. And for this one, we will put a counter here. So we could assign a variable here. Let's say $CTR is equal to 0. CTR is equal to CTR plus 1, meaning to say whatever the last value of your CTR, or we will initialize first the value of CTR equals 0, but it should be outside the while statement. Otherwise, the value of our CTR or counter will always be 0, so it should be somewhere there, and then we will have a counter here for CTR is equal to CTR plus 1. Dollar, because that is variable, $CTR. Okay, so $CTR plus 1. Okay, let's try. And here, let us not forget, so this one we don't need to concatenate, we can go directly. That is the beauty of PHP. Okay, you can just write $CTR there. You don't need to concatenate or do this way, do like this way. You don't need to do that. Okay, because you don't have a variable like this one with single quote inside. Okay, so only this will do. Okay, let's try. Let's go back to the browser. Okay, and then let us refresh. So as you can see right now, we have the number sign column. So that is the counter for the number counter. So we have two records. That's why 1, 2, and then the full name, contact number. And since this is a table, I think it's better if we put if we put a border. Okay. So let's go back again to the source code. Okay. And then from here, we will put table. One of the properties or attribute of a table is the border. So we can specify border equals 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, meaning to say that is the pixel or the thickness of your border. So the higher the border, the thicker the border is. Okay. So let's try. Let's go back again to the browser. Okay, let us see. Refresh. Oh, we have already a border. But what happened to the second record? It's not included. I'll check. We will check. Let's go back to the source code. For a moment, we will check the source code. What happened to that? So we have here the table border equals 1, and then what happened to the second record? Okay. We have here the closing tag. Okay. This is our mistake. The end tag or end statement for while statement or while looping statement should be here. Okay? Because we don't need to loop this part. Okay? I will just clarify to you. This one is outside the while statement because it appears before the while statement. And the same thing, when we're going to close the table tag, it should also be outside the while statement. So it appears at the end or after the end statement because this is the begin and this is the end. So this is the opening table, this is the closing table. That's why there was a problem with our design when we refresh the page. Okay, I will save this. Okay, we're going to save that, and again let us go back to the browser and refresh it. Okay, see? So what I'm trying to explain here is we did not focus on the design at first. Okay? Eventually, we will trace back all those things, tags, CSS things. CSS meaning cascading style sheet. That is where the design matters in HTML because everything in the page is being interpreted. The final output of that is HTML document. So HTML is the easiest topic in web development, yet it is the most important thing because it is on how you're going to present, decorate your website or your application, be it just a simple page or a transactional page. So HTML really matters, and for you to be able to beautify or let's say to make it cool or more catchy or more presentable, you really have to learn the aside from HTML tags, the CSS matters or the CSS things. Okay, so you have to learn those things, and then for the JavaScript. That is for the client-side functionality, and that is also very important. And if you're going to create the deeper or the other JavaScript thing like jQuery, and there are a lot of frameworks in JavaScript, so it actually continuously evolves. But if you understand the core foundation of it, the core knowledge of it, you will not be threatened or you will not be lost. Although I'm not saying that you don't need to study well or to explore things because programming is really adventurous and challenging also. But the more you are challenged, the more you become excited. So that's why we started from this because I wanna give emphasis. I wanna give weight that if you want to become a web developer, you start with the logic because you will be dealing a lot about more on logic, about algorithms. So I'm not saying that design is not important, but as web developer, that is a second thing. The first thing is for you to know deeply on how to let's say the CRUD thing, or the create, read, edit, and update and delete. So that is very easy to memorize, to know, and to understand. But if you do it on the actual, what we're doing right now is just viewing. So that is not create, that is just read. So we still have create, meaning to say the counterpart of that. In layman's term, if you are creating your Facebook account or Google account, that is part of the CRUD. That is the create part. So I will also show you next time, probably tomorrow, that will be our topic, either viewing, this is viewing, so create or edit. So either of the three, create, read, or delete. I will be discussing that tomorrow as a continuation of this. So again, going back to the simplest example, when you create an account in Facebook, Yahoo Mail, Google, or whatever page or application that you're trying to create. So that is a create part, meaning to say you are going to insert records. So once you fill up the form and you save it or submit it, the program inside it will take care of it. Will store it into the database. Okay, that's why if you have finally registered successfully, your records are already there, are already recorded. And you are also allowed to modify. Let's say you have changed your address, or you have changed your contact numbers with your or your contact details, or let's say whatever information that you want to change. You are also allowed to do that in editing. So that is edit or update. So that is the meaning of CRUD. CRUD is an acronym for create, read, update, and delete. And these things are, during our time, I don't know yet about the CRUD acronym, but I call that add, edit, delete, update. Add, edit, delete, and view. So counterpart of CRUD. So these are the things that you have to know if you really want to learn any programming language, even if it's not web programming language like Visual Basic or MS Access or Visual Fox Pro or the .NET thing like VB.NET. It is really very important. So that is the secret. That is not so actually ideally it's not complicated. But if you will already apply that if you will actualize that, or if you apply that into your life to learn these things, so the learning curves, there are all, of course, some learning curves that you will encounter. And I am repeatedly saying that this is a continuous process. Even just in the office a while ago, we've learned a lot of things, and we've discovered new things, and we will still discover other things that for us to be able to come up with the desired output that we want to do. Okay, so again, when we discussed about the HTML, let's get back to the source code. Okay, so as you can see from our source code or this simple scripts, we have just added view. We have just added this HTML thing. Okay, and if you're going to start with the HTML and then proceed to the JavaScript and then the PHP and MySQL, if you have mastered that already, even if you migrate into or shifted, even if you shift into another languages, for as long as you already know the mechanics or the things that you must or you really need to learn, and then you will not be lost, and you will be confident enough to explore other programming languages. Okay, so in this simple scripts, what you've learned is the PHP, because we're using the PHP as our backend here, and you've also learned MySQL thing, because we've created a database in MySQL, and we retrieve the records, and we use the HTML, and I think this time we have not used yet the JavaScript. Okay, so probably tomorrow we will be adding some JavaScript. We will be using the traditional JavaScript, because that is the JavaScript core. Okay, before we end this session, I want to show you the database, the phpMyAdmin. Okay, so let's go back to the browser first. Okay, I will open the browser again. Okay, and then localhost phpMyAdmin. Okay, I will log in the password. Okay, so we will open the database, which is the test, and then the contacts table. So never mind about this. So from the contacts table we have this. So what we're doing and what we have done last time is we inserted records directly from the database. So that is the insertion of record. And next time we could create a button like let's say add new contact, and then when you click that, it's either a button or a link. When you click that, automatically when the user submitted or saved that record, automatically it should be stored here. Okay, so but this time, just to give emphasis about the dynamic page or dynamic site, like what we're doing right now, we will insert another one record. Okay, so if we click insert, okay, only one record. So we will click this go button here instead of this to insert only one record. Let's say Pedro Penduko. Okay, so let's say the number of Pedro Penduko is, let's say, 5678. Okay, then go. Okay, one row inserted, and let's try to refresh the one that we have created. Okay, see, so this is dynamic. Okay, even if we did not modify the source code, because we have just inserted directly from the database, and then that record already reflected here. Okay, as you can see from here. So even if you have so many records there, automatic, even if you will not modify the source code, the one that we have modified or created, I'll show you the source code. Okay, so even if we did not do anything from here, but the record automatically reflects there. Okay, so that's what I mean. So this is dynamic. And later again, we will create a form for us to be able to enter records or add another contact without accessing directly the database through the phpMyAdmin. Okay, and then after we finish this, after we finish the add, edit, delete or the CRUD thing, and then we will start with the HTML. Okay, again, if you are new with the web development. Just continue to understand these things, not the syntax or not the commands. You don't need to memorize this time the commands, the echo, the MySQL connect, or whatever commands that we have included. What I want you to do is just to absorb the purpose of everything that we're doing this time. Because what we did again is we begin with an end in mind. And then after that, we will go one by one with those. We will go one by one and deeper with those with these different topics that I've shown you yesterday. Okay? So it's what time is now? That's 9:25. Okay. That's all for now, and see you tomorrow morning Philippine time from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. And then on Thursday, so tomorrow is Wednesday. On Thursday, I think we will again meet from 8 to 9 p.m. So that's all for now, and bye-bye.